it is time to talk about another sci-fi, fantasy, and weird title. Actually, it's been a while, and we're talking about Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep? Electric Sheep, Electric Boogaloo. Oh, that doesn't come out very well in the lighting. I'm sorry about that. Oh well. I read this on my Kobo because I got it from the library. Really long hold, so when it finally came in, I dove right in. Yeah, this one has been on my radar for a while. This one was written in 1968. It's by Philip K. Dick. I don't remember if I said that. And it's my 13th sci-fi, fantasy, and weird title since I started this exploration. Oh, not even a year ago. Not even a year ago. So I'm actually doing pretty good on that. This one you may know, or you may not even know that you know, because it was made into the film Blade Runner from the 80s, directed by Ridley Scott with Harrison Ford, Rutger Hauer. Who else was in it? Sean Young. Edward James, almost. I totally forgot he was in that. Anyway, I haven't revisited the film since I've read the book, and of course there is the new Blade Runner coming out later this year. So that was, and I don't know how close the new one. I don't know if the new one is based on the book again, or if it's an extension of the original film, or anything like that. I don't want to know. I just want to go and enjoy it. I feel very cautiously excited about the new Blade Runner. But let's get back to the actual book that is based on Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep. This one, so I chose it because of the film, and my hold came in. And this one, it's always weird to read the books after seeing films, especially because this one is quite different. There's a lot of things that are the same. It's set in a future where there are androids, and it follows the protagonist. Deckard is a cop who is someone who hunts down rogue androids, or sometimes he does that. He doesn't always do that. I think in the film he's more of a bounty hunter, whereas this one I think he's a police officer. So there's lots of, it's hard because the film is one of my favorite films. I've seen it many times. There are very clear things that happen in the book that happen in the film that are like, this is the entire scene, this is the same thing, and then there are things that are completely different, so it's a little hard for me to separate them. But in terms of trying to think on the book just on its own, there were things that I thought that were really fascinating. This whole, like, even the title of it, Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep, there is a huge priority, or like, living things are rare. This is set in a future world where they're revered. Like, you wouldn't, like, no, everyone's vegetarian. Nobody eats meat because of the scarcity of live animals. But they do, some people, as a status thing, have animals as pets. Whereas Deckard and his wife have an electronic pet, because it shows some status, but not a lot of status. And so that sort of, there's a huge philosophical thing going on about that. And there is another huge philosophical piece, and there's this whole piece in terms of this sort of like nouveau religion that sort of everyone takes part in, and there's this whole thing about sort of plugging into a collective consciousness, as well as, this is the thing that I found probably the most disturbing about the book, is that you can also, there are these dials, like this I don't know, electronic device or whatever, that you plug yourself into, and you can set it to a dial to set your mood to that mood. So you have control over your emotions as opposed to just feeling your emotions. So, and then really ironically, one of the big tests to tell if someone is human or android is testing their emotions. So there's this whole piece about emotions, there's this whole sort of religious spirituality element to it, and then this whole sort of, you wouldn't eat animals, or you wouldn't, and not just be vegetarian, it's like any living creature is revered. You wouldn't kill a bug, nothing like that. I don't think, maybe there was some bug killing, I can't remember, but pretty much natural life is revered. And then I actually, to be quite honest, I had a hard time figuring out what was going on with the androids. I knew that they were rogue androids, but I didn't understand why there was such a such a huge, Deckard gets hired or gets the case of hunting down the rogue androids, and I wasn't sure what it was that they had done or why it was so wrong for them to be there or to be doing what they were doing. So for me, I felt like there was this huge theme about the freedom of existence, like being allowed to exist, whereas I felt like they were trying to shut up the androids, but I never felt like it was super clear to me that why they weren't allowed to be, especially since all life is so revered. There was definitely some gender stuff in this one, and I do find that does come up with older science fiction. This one's from 68, the book, and there was literally like the dial thing that I was talking about. The Deckard, okay, so now I'm going to get into some more content-y type stuff. This is very specific. No, this isn't really about the plot. This is just sort of something that happened that bothered me that I feel like I have to say, which is that Deckard tells his wife, I don't think he has a wife in the film, he tells his wife to set her dial to like whatever, 813, which is like a setting that your husband is always right and you aim to please him. It's like, what? I hate it when you read futuristic science fiction and then you encounter this gender crap. Like, it's total gender crap. And I thought he was a horrible husband, so why should she be aiming to please him? Like, it was just crazy. He was not very good in his side of the relationship either. Anyway, there were some interesting ideas here, but I felt like I kept on latching on to what was similar and different from the film. So the reading experience wasn't actually all that enjoyable, but that's because I've seen the film so many times, but not recently. So I kept on just doing a sort of compare and contrast as opposed to following the story on its own, because the story itself is told very differently, although there are definitely points in which this scene is the same, this scene is the same, this sentiment is the same, but generally they were vastly different. And it was hard. Like, I definitely saw certain characters as certain actors. I didn't so much see Deckard as Harrison Ford, but I definitely saw Roy as Rutger Hauer, and I love Rutger Hauer. So it was hard not to just, whenever he was on the page, to see Rutger Hauer, and I think that that's fine, as well as Pris as it's Daryl Hannah, isn't it? I don't know if she was listed there. Yeah, she's not listed here. It's definitely Daryl Hannah. That's Daryl Hannah, right? That character? That's Pris. And Sean Young, I can't remember who she plays. Anyway, so there were things that overall, I would say experientially, I didn't love reading the book, and it made me a little sad because this is the second Philip K. Dick that I've tried. I tried The Man in the High Castle, and I didn't read it. It's alternate history, which is not really my thing, because often alternate history is about sociopolitical commentary, and again, that's not, in terms of science fiction, that's not what I'm interested in. I'm interested in like ideas and exploring ideas and future thinking, not revisionist type thinking. Although I think, that's important too, but often I don't find it's where did we go wrong, it's what would happen if things went more wrong, and I'm like, I don't want to explore that. So I want like space and robots and androids. And I do think a big question about this one is, and we see this in science fiction, is that does artificial life have choice? When does it become independent in terms of the right to live versus, as humans who created the androids, do we get to say that, or do we get to end their life, and then and so who's, there's not usually often the stories don't go to good places when they start asking these questions. But I did find it really interesting. The whole other philosophical religious type thing was completely unexpected, and I felt, to be honest, the real thread and heart of the story, and what we get in the movie, is pulled out to make a science fiction like action thriller, and it's there, but sort of the emphasis and some of the scenes that were like long drawn out and stuff like that in the movie, like, were a paragraph. So it was really weird. So this one was a very strange experiential type thing because of the close knit of the book to the film. And I am like the close knit, like, comparison that I was drawing. So it definitely wasn't what I expected, even though I had heard it was very different. I sadly did not enjoy it very much. It makes me hesitant to go on to some of Philip K. Dick's other work. I don't know. I think was it Ubik? I think that's still on my list, but I'm not running to try that. If you have one that you think I would like and doesn't have any gender crap in it, I would love that as a suggestion. So I don't know if I'm gonna like. I'll definitely pick other stuff first. I am excited to check out the film again, and I'm so excited for the new movie that's coming out. I don't know much about it. I think I know who the lead is and the director is, and I'm good with both of those choices. And I haven't watched the trailer. I haven't. I just I've heard good things and people seem to be excited. I'll put the trailer up if you're interested. Always when I put up trailers though, please know that almost all trailers are spoilery. So if you don't want to be spoiled, just have your mouse hand on the pause button because, you know, they always say too much, I find, and 15 to 30 seconds is enough to get the atmosphere, and that's for me all that I need. I'm happy to experience it in the theater. That one I'll probably try and get to the theater. I don't know if it's summer or fall. So anyway, now I'm just talking about it. It definitely is science fiction. So in terms of the sci-fi, fantasy, and weird exploration, it definitely hits the mark. This is science fiction. It's talking about science fiction themes. You know, androids is always a science fiction thing until androids are really real. Actually, there are some documentaries about robots and androids. I don't know if we've gotten to android stage. Anyway, getting off topic here. Definitely fit science fiction, so that was a win. I don't think I have anything for the spoiler zone because all of the spoilery zone things I sort of like worked in. So I hope that wasn't too spoilery for anyone. I'm a little off my game, I think, these days. But I am going to be back for more reviews. The next book that I have read and will be reviewing for the sci-fi, fantasy, and weird exploration is The Invisible Man, which also has a movie. So many sci-fi books do. So I don't know what to pick next after that, so I'm definitely open to suggestion. The list of all the titles is in the description if you want to check it out. And yeah, on to the next one. I guess I've done sci-fi and sci-fi, so I gotta go back to fantasy or weird, so gotta figure out fantasy or weird title. Okay, thanks so much for watching!